bed by 8:30 for this really exciting. I am on a flight from Los Angeles to Paris. And I'm sitting next to my mom and my stepdad. And I wish I was on this trip alone. No, check that. I wish I had the confidence, the independence, the gumption to pack one of those big, towering backpacks, you know, and buy a Euro pass, and go and just find myself in Europe, you know? But I don't. And my mom's been planning this trip for well over a year, and it is to celebrate my 30th birthday. But I'm kind of half hoping that the trip gets canceled at the last minute because it's 3 weeks after 9/11. But here I am on the plane, and I'm stuffing crackers and white soft cheese in my face, and I'm just trying not to think about Mohammed Atta and the box cutters. The biggest terrorist attack to ever happen in American history on American soil has kind of put a spotlight on my love life. And I know that sounds terribly narcissistic. The morning of 9/11, I'm just curled up in my bed in the fetal position, as I'm sure we all were, and I'm watching the towers fall on TV, and I just am not comprehending what's happening, you know? And all I want is to be able to call someone who will pick up on the first ring and say, I'm on my way, sweetheart. And he'll be there, and he will hold me. And we will watch Wolf Blitzer until our eyes are bleary and we're numb. And then, because he knows me so well, and he knows what's good for me, he will insist that we go for a hike up Runyon. And then we will go to California Chicken Cafe, and we will eat Chinese chicken salad with a side of roasted potatoes. I don't have that person, and I'm starting to think I never will. All through my adolescence and my very early 20s, I'm kind of like a serial monogamist, you know? I go from long-term relationship to long-term relationship with another guy always on deck. And then I meet the big one, the love of my life up until that point, and we go on this wild, tumultuous, drunken ride, and it ends when I move to LA, and I am heartbroken, I'm devastated, and I throw myself into a 12-step program and an acting class. And I work the steps, and I go to meetings, and I write, and I perform a one-woman show. And I do not have an intimate relationship for my first year of sobriety, as is highly recommended. And then I do not have one for my second year. And then I do not have one for my third year. And I'm starting to feel like my sobriety and my singledom are intricately linked somehow. But, you know, I meet these colorful, talented, hilarious people, and I develop deep, long-lasting friendships. But I can't get a date to save my life. And I decide it's because you just can't meet anybody in LA. And then I decide it's because I've gained weight, and I have a case of rosacea. And then I decide it's because I don't have a master's degree. And then I just stop deciding. And that is when I start hanging out or hooking up or whatever it is the kids are calling it these days with a guy that I work with at the Cheesecake Factory. He's charming, and he's funny, and he's got these big, deep, soulful brown eyes, you know? And he can quote Goodfellas and Midnight Run, which are my favorite movies. And he is hands down the best karaoke singer I have ever seen. When he sings Creed's Can You Take Me Higher? Take me higher. It's breathtaking. I'm not kidding. He's also 5 years younger than me, and it's kind of common knowledge that he's infatuated with this other girl at work, but she practically ignores him. And he smokes and deals large amounts of marijuana. Perfect boyfriend material. But hey, I'm a strong, sober woman. I can handle it. It'll just be a fling, right? It'll be fun. So, cut to, it's midnight after my shift, and I'm in my Cheesecake Factory uniform, which is white orthopedic shoes, white jeans, a long sleeve button-down white shirt, flattering, I know, and I'm sitting on Karaoke Boy's couch, watching him play video games with his roommates. It's riveting. And they are passing this enormous fluorescent orange bong. And every time it comes to me, I politely decline and pass it on because I'm a strong, sober woman. But I'm waiting. I'm biding my time because I know 4 or 5 hours from now, frat boy roommates go to bed. And Karaoke Boy puts down his joystick or his console, whatever the fuck it's called. And we go in his bedroom and we finally fall into each other, and it is passionate and it's intimate in a way, and it's tender and it's sweet, and on some cellular level, it feels like home. But he never calls me. We never go out on dates. I just give him a ride home from work on Wednesday and Sunday nights, and that's when the magic happens. And this goes on for months, and I start missing meetings, and I'm exhausted in acting classes. And then one Wednesday, he's not at work. I don't know where he is. And I find myself in the bathroom, and I lock the door to the stall, and I hold myself, and I say over and over, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, trying to quell the anxiety that's rising within me. So Sunday night, he's back at work, thank God, and things proceed as normal. And when the fluorescent orange bong is passed in my direction, I seize it. I descend upon it, and I take a huge hit. Pot was never really my thing. And the whole room stops. The video game is paused. Everybody looks at me. No way, Dolan, that's awesome! Karaoke Boy is practically giddy, and he starts searching for the perfect bong for me to use on this most auspicious occasion. And he settles on one that's made out of a plastic honey bear. I'm touched. And it doesn't take long before I am good and high. And I kind of look around the room, and everybody looks very small and far away. It's probably because I'm squinting. And then I kind of leave my body, and I'm looking down at myself, and I see myself as they see me. And I'm kind of a joke, you know? Like, I'm this 29-year-old woman, practically middle-aged in their eyes, and I've got this red face, and I'm just chubby in my white uniform, and I have just thrown away almost a decade of sobriety. For what? So I make a vow to myself that I will not continue to do this after I turn 30. So we land in Paris, and I adopt a new attitude. I am adventurous and inspired, and I am curious, and I'm free. And the next day is my birthday, and we go sightseeing. And you know what? Paris really lives up to the hype. If you haven't been, you need to go. And I'm just struck by the details. You know, there's gargoyles on every apartment building, and there's these beautiful gardens on every block, and it's so clean. It really looks like the French Quarter at Disneyland. And we go to the Louvre, and I am just captivated by this statue, and it's called, I have it right on my hand, it's called the Winged Victory of Samothrace. I'm sorry, I didn't know the name, I had to look it up. And it's this marble sculpture of the goddess Nike, and I can't take my eyes off it. And then later, we're sitting in a cafe, and I'm watching the Parisians stroll by, And I am struck by the Parisian women. Every single one of them is stunning. They have flawless skin and this honey-colored, swept-up hair, and they have these long, billowing scarves that drape perfectly over their tailored clothes. And they're just elegant, you know, and they are thin, and they just continue to loft by me like these perfect, silky confections. And I don't even try to hide it. I just stare at them, a doll, as I stuff my croissant in my face. I want to be them. And then I look down to brush off the crumbs, and I am mortified. I'm wearing, I can't even say it. It's so embarrassing. I'm wearing overalls. In Paris. Overalls in Paris. That should be the name of my one-woman show. And it's not like I'm Kate Moss or someone who can pull it off, you know? So, right at that moment, my mom snaps my picture, and I just explode. Don't take my picture! I run out of the cafe, down the street. I'm just running back to my hotel, and I stop, and I'm just walking really fast. And I'm approached by this petite, beady-eyed, poofy-haired Frenchman. And he looks kind of like that guy, Jay Baruchel. You know that guy from, what's that movie? This Is the End, or Knocked Up, you know what I'm talking about? And he's hopping around, kind of like the Tasmanian devil. And he comes up to me and he says, "Oh my goodness, you are so beautiful. Are you an American? Are you an American? Are you an American?" And I can't do a French accent, but, and I'm still walking, and I nod my head, and I keep walking. And he starts walking with me, and he says, "Oh my goodness, you are so beautiful. What is your name? What is your name? What is your name?" And I don't want to be rude, but I'm not sure what to do, so I just say, "Megan." And he says, "Oh my God, you are so beautiful. You are so beautiful. I show you the city, yes?" And we're still walking. And he puts his arm around me, which alarms me. So I roll away from him, and I see a park right in front of me. So I make a beeline for the park. And he just rolls with me, catches up to me, and says, "Oh, Megan, you are so pretty." But I can't do it. At that moment, he grabs me by the hips, turns me towards him, thrusts his pelvis into me, and says, "I love you, Megan!" And shove him as hard as I can and yell, "No!" at the top of my lungs, and I turn and I sprint back to the hotel. And my mom and my stepdad are waiting for me because we're going to this nearby church because they're having a service to commemorate the people lost in 9/11. And we get to the church, and we're kind of early, so I'm wandering around the church, and I see a sign that says, "American AA meeting." So I walk in, there's about 20 people, and I sit down, and they start saying the third step prayer, and I join in. And when we get to this line, that's my most favorite line of any prayer I've ever heard, "Relieve me of the bondage of self. Relieve me of the bondage of self." They only say it once, but I just said it twice. And I'm flooded by a warmth and a sense of well-being that lasts for about 20 minutes. Thanks.